We are reacting to Hurt Bay 2. 1 year later, Courtney and Leonard meet again.
That's right. We're Brad and Morgan Robinson, and we do workshops and have programs to help couples heal after broken trust. And so this is going to be interesting. We haven't seen this one. We saw the first one.
Yeah, we just saw the first one. That was really fascinating and interesting. It's tragic. It's sad.
Broke my heart.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of layers to it. It's just not. It's horrible seeing stuff like this. Yeah. I'm curious to see where they're at a year later.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
you ready to watch?
Because at the end of that first video, I had the impression of like there were still feelings there, and maybe part of why they did that video was him trying to like say, "Hey, I'm done. I don't want to be with you anymore," even though he was the one who was unfaithful. Closure, maybe for her. Yeah, maybe he was trying to do something.
Yeah.
But let's watch.
Let's check it out.
I was in love with you. I wanted to be with you. But that's all in the past now.
I hope I never see you again.
So I'm confused. I guess like she was in love. I hope I never see you again.
And he's like, I hope I never see you again. And he's like,
he used her though. I mean, like he cheated on her.
Yeah.
In the last video, he talked about, having somebody over in their apartment and, the room and her like being out of the room all night. And like crying. And he's like, wow. So I don't know what the context is. Yeah. I guess we're going to find out.
We're going to find out. This was nicer before.
I've learned a lot from the video. I learned a lot this past year. Grew my social following, my career. My life did like a 180.
I'm in a good place, taking care of myself, drinking more water, exfoliating. I'd like to learn my lessons the hard way. I'm glad that we did the video. It's definitely changed both of our lives for the better.
I think they took away that I was a damsel in distress and he was a villain. And it wasn't that cut and dry. We both are human and we both make mistakes.
People feel like they know the whole story of our relationship from watching a 5-minute video, which is...
So I want to pause something. She said something real important, like people took it as I was a damsel in distress and he was a villain. She also said in that last video that she'd forgiven him. Mm-hmm. And I think that's real important because when you view somebody as like a transgressor or as evil, you don't often think about that forgiveness is possible. You don't even think that it's necessary. Mm-hmm. And she's seen him in a more human light than what was just shared in that 6-minute video. And so that's part of how people forgive is they have empathy for the person who hurt them. And so clearly we still see that empathy a year later. Yeah. And she's even defending him like, you're not this villain that people thought you were.
Yeah, because there's a 5-minute video. People can't get the entire relationship from 5 minutes. And of course, I'm sure there were all kinds of comments from the peanut gallery that is the internet, who were probably being super judgmental. I mean, it's hard not to just dive bomb into someone's relationship that they clearly are just opening these wounds for you to see and not feel some sort of like, what? Like, what is this? But we have to be careful. Even us, we have to be very careful not to be so judgmental, as it can be hard not to do that. Yeah. So let's keep watching.
It's just absurd and, kind of makes me seem like a bad person, which I'm not.
You're not a bad person.
Courtney was like one of the only people I could relate to. There hasn't really been a video like this before.
Yeah. You're like infamous now.
I used to read the comments and see all the fucked up shit people would say, wish death on me. Being judged by people that don't know me is really, I don't take it personally. I'm a black man living in America, so I've kind of been judged on things outside of my character my whole life.
That's interesting. He's had to have a thick skin his whole life, which I think in the last video I talked about, well, we don't know what kind of background he's had, who his mother, what his family dynamics were, the men in his life, the examples that he's had. We don't know that, and he's kind of speaking to that. You don't know me, and I've been judged. I have a thick skin, but what's interesting is when we have such a thick skin, it keeps us from that vulnerability that we need to have that in a good relationship.
That's a really good point.
Do you know? Yeah. He's used to having a thick skin, which makes it very hard.
Well, that's a good point, because his thick skin has prevented him from being vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why do people develop thick skin anyway? It's
Right.
usually because of faulty relationships,
Right.
getting hurt in a relationship. And so,
Yep.
and that adage is true: hurt people
Hurt people. Yes.
And so,
yes. So
yeah.
he's just continuing the cycles.
I don't know. I kind of think that the cycle with me and Courtney might have continued. Part of the reason I did the video was so that, Courtney would be able to move on.
So that I could move on.
Yes, because you still wanted to be with me after I didn't want to be with you.
Did I?
I don't know
What are
why
you
you
talking
sit up
about?
here in front.
that was what I thought.
That's what we thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were like,
Like
we could see that she was she still had feelings. It was all over her face, but it may have been feelings of just what she had wanted it to be,
Mm-hmm.
what she had hoped it to be. It's not a problem to have feelings
Mm-hmm.
like that. I mean, that's human. It's human to feel,
Mhm.
needs and wants and desires for love and for connection, and even,
Mhm.
somebody you thought you knew.
Yeah, what's interesting though is just how she earlier, like a minute ago, she's defending him to the public,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's kind of pushing. I'm not a villain, and he's pushing back against her.
Mm.
And now they're getting into an argument,
Right.
and they've been broken up for a while now.
Yeah. At least longer than the last video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And there's some, but that was kind of what he's saying is what I was thinking. So I wonder.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what she has to say about this. Like, no,
Yeah, she's
it wasn't
bristling
that.
up for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
When you approached me to do the video, you were not exclusive. I was not exclusive.
I was
You did your
exclusive.
thing.
I
did
did
my
not
thing.
do my thing.
We did this to get exposure as entertainers.
That's not true.
It was obviously a setup for me because I was the one who would be painted as a cheater.
I asked you to do it so we could talk about things, because we never talked about things.
What is there to talk about?
Us being together.
We were never together.
So he's in reputation damage control mode.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing this for publicity. You're an entertainer. You want to be seen, and you want to be the victim who gets, like, get people see you in a sympathetic light. And this is come at my cost of being a career. You cheated too. It's equal. In both ways. So it's really starting to turn really toxic.
Yeah.
Together. This is what happened. I order food, chill for the night.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
She's putting up a boundary there, which I think is probably a healthy.
Sometimes walking away is what you got to do.
Yeah. To not say what you really want to say.
Or it escalates from there.
Right. He's drinking his water. Got to cool down a little bit. Mm-hmm.
I just don't like to be lied straight to my face. I just don't want any, this is,
Do you want to step out for a second?
Come get some truth.
you're tripping. You're tripping.
Sit down.
Don't tell me what to do. You're tripping. What are you doing? What is this?
You throw things out there like that without adding context to make me look like a bad person.
You
That's
look
all
like
it
a
is.
crybaby right now.
Says
You're
her babe.
crying
Says her
because
babe.
you said cruel things to me. You cheated on me. You put me through hell, Leonard. I want to talk to you real quick.
It's over with.
So I think now this is my assumption on why people reacted to that last video the way they did, is there was no remorse in him.
Yeah. There was nothing on his face, in his body language. He even had like a little bit of a smirk at sometimes, which was, I called the word cruel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's speaking the word. She says cruel because, I mean, she and I saw it. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing though. Like, it's one thing to do this and then own up to it and be remorseful and like go work on yourself and become a better person and, like commit your life to like never doing this again.
Right.
That was not how he presented himself at all in the last video.
No, he did not.
So that could have been what was going on, but there was no remorse within the context of the video that we saw.
Right.
There was no ownership. There was no like, moving forward with his life.
That's right. And then
In a productive way. It was like, hey, I think you still like me and I want to let you go.
right.
Like, and there was no like commitment to being a better person or, even trying to help her.
And you know what he said earlier? He said, all of those comments, you know, I have a rough exterior. They don't get to me. Well, this is the evidence that it really does get to him. This is how he shows that it does affect him.
You're
what
right.
people say.
You're right.
And you can't help. A human being will be affected.
Yeah.
We're social.
Well, my experience with clients and people who come to our workshops is that the tougher the exterior, the more sensitive the person.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's very sensitive.
Yes, he is.
And we're seeing the reaction to that with this defensiveness and really turning the tables on her.
That's right, because we have those primary and secondary emotions, right? When we feel hurt or sad or that vulnerable emotion, we often don't feel safe to share that. We share anger, defensiveness. You know, we stonewall or we put up these barriers, right? And we start shifting blame like he's kind of seemingly doing here.
No, you're right. And here's the kicker, though. The average person who strays isn't aware of their feelings.
Yes.
The average person who strays doesn't have a lot of emotional self-awareness. And so he just may know he's angry.
Right.
But not know, like, I'm hurt or I feel misunderstood or this or that.
He may not even see that. That's right. He may not even have that awareness. It sounds like he doesn't.
Because he's honestly making himself look worse than he did in the first video, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's go on. Maybe there's something redeemable.
Yeah.
You're not on my team.
When I should have said, to hell with him, I said he's not a bad person.
Because
multiple times.
Saying he's not a bad person is not saying, oh, he told me that he didn't want to be in a relationship.
You never said that.
Never?
You didn't say that. So why didn't you say this last time?
Because...
Why didn't you tell me last time when we were here, you were never my girlfriend, I never cheated on you, and now you're saying all of this, like, what are you talking about?
Because we came here to get on.
That's not the case. That was never the case.
It was always the case.
Maybe that was the case for you, but I had feelings for you, and I wanted to know what was going on.
You don't want to face the truth.
What truth? What's your truth, Leonard? Go ahead. What's your truth?
You put me in fucked up situations, and then you play the victim.
You put me in this situation. You invited me. I didn't come on my own. I was coerced. I was blindfolded. A gun was put to my back, and you're the reason that I was here. It's your fault. Shifting the blame and not taking any responsibility for what he chose to do, which was get in the car, drive there, and do this interview.
Yeah, well, I think he probably thought nobody would see that video, but apparently
it's very popular.
The description of this, it was like a trending topic on Twitter, like after that original video came out. And so...
Yeah, now he's mad because he's been exposed.
And people are talking about him online.
And that hurts. And, you know, it stinks.
Every time. The whole time we messed around, I told you, hey, Courtney, like, I really like you, I love you, but I don't want to be in a relationship with you. That's never what I wanted. We met in school, we met in college, we met in class, and you really didn't like me.
No, I didn't like you at first.
A couple years later, we moved into like the same apartment complex, and the first day we both moved there, we like met on the elevator again. It was like a reunion.
And then you offered to bring my groceries upstairs.
And yeah, we spent a lot of time together.
Like every day.
I would say that you were my best friend.
Yeah, me too.
That comment section should be avoided at all costs.
Well, but he was saying, like, I'm letting you know I don't want to be in a relationship with you. And she was the one who didn't like him at first.
Right.
So he's like maybe pursuing her, I'm assuming, like, obviously helping with groceries and other probably behavior.
And you know what's so interesting about this too? In infidelity, right? With couples who've been cheated on, they rewrite the past. They rewrite that past to make it worse than it is so that they can shut out the feelings that they had before. Right. So that's part of it. That doesn't mean that that's the truth, that it's becoming the new truth so that they can somehow deal with what's going on in the moment when they're hurting. Yeah. And I think that's what's happening.
I think a lot of what's happening as well is he looked bad in that first video.
Mhm.
He's trying to get like a new narrative out there.
Yeah.
And so it was like, and it was stuff that he didn't say. It's apparently he hadn't told her this because it's news to her.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to like do damage control. I think he's
Right.
probably being very dishonest with some of these things.
Yeah.
Whether he felt,
yeah.
he may have thought some of this,
But he never
but
communicated it.
Well, I don't know. I think he's being dishonest with some of this.
In this second video?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
he's being dishonest with a lot of
Oh,
this.
yeah. It's very dishonest, but I think even if he did feel that, which I don't think he did, I think you're right. He didn't communicate it to her. Obviously, in that
No,
first video, he was much softer than now. And I think that he's just been jaded by all the comments that people have made. And it's really influencing what he's saying now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
Okay.
I've moved on. I fell in love again with a great guy, and we're very happy.
That's good to hear.
She looks happy. He looks
does.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think he hasn't moved on like she has.
Yeah.
You know what probably this has done is it screwed up his sex life.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like your social circles usually aren't that big.
Right.
Like if you're on, maybe apps or something, maybe he's met people that way. But as far as like developing a relationship
With
again,
nice girls like her,
yeah,
he's probably, definitely.
it's probably screwed him up. And like she looks genuinely happy saying that.
Yeah.
And I think she also likes being able to say it, to be like,
Yeah. See what
Imagine
happens.
it
Well, I mean, it's hard not to want to.
well,
feel
I'm
like,
happy
you
for.
know.
I want people to be happy.
Yeah.
Like, I want him to even be happy.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I hate this for
But-
him
Well,
and for
but
her.
you gotta rebuild. You gotta
Yes.
own your mistakes and rebuild.
Yes.
And as long as you have an attitude of like, I'm the victim in this
Yeah,
situation,
and it's your fault.
even when you created it, you're
Mhm.
not going to get better.
That's right.
Like your life doesn't get better until you get better.
That's right.
And
Yeah,
so-
because you're basically saying I'm not going to move forward until you change or you do
Yeah.
this or you do that. Well, then you have no power. Then
You're-
where's your power?
That's a good point, because people who have that kind of attitude that he's displaying,
Mhm.
or at least that I'm saying he's saying,
Mhm.
that's the secret to being very unhappy in life.
Yes.
Like you have no agency, you have no control, you have
Yeah.
no power over things,
Right.
and you're just always a victim to something. You're always
Mhm.
like, you're the reason I'm having a bad day, or this situation is
Right.
why I'm having a bad day. And it's like, no,
No, we
Like,
can do so much.
you can control your attitude. You can
Right.
choose how you feel. Obviously, when there's like big traumas, you can't always control how you feel because it's
Mhm.
empowering, it overwhelms you.
Overwhelms
But
you.
for the most part, on an average day, you can control how you feel.
As long as you can understand what you feel. If you
Yeah.
can see it and you can say, look, right now I recognize what I'm feeling. But if you've cut that totally off, then you can't help but shift like this and blame and because you don't even know what you feel. But if you're aware, if you have that awareness, which is what we help people do in the workshops and in the
Mhm.
programs, we help people be aware of their experience, like their physical experience, their emotional experience, what they're really feeling and what's really going on inside, so that they can then express it and be genuine with it and then have control. So then you have that life, that power to really control your life and where you're going and your goals and your future. You don't feel so trapped all the time.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's keep going.
Yeah.
I'm happy you finally found someone that can give you what you deserve, sis. I'm happy for you.
He does not seem happy
No.
at all. That's like the most dishonest thing he said.
Disingenuous,
Disingenuous
it's like-
thing he has said.
It's like, I don't know,
I-
incongruent is the
But-
word.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, I'm happy for you, shaking his head.
Who's
I don't.
this? Like, who's,
Yeah.
he
Well,
doesn't-
no. But
yeah.
the thing I know about body language, and
Yeah.
it's not a lot, but I do know there's some.
yeah.
It's like when people are saying, I like chocolate, and they're saying
Like,
no
I
with
don't
their head.
really. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love chocolate. Ugh.
It's not. It's
It's very incongruent.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it just seems very insincere. I'm going to back up again,
And see, kind of.
get the context of where we're going next.
Yeah.
But let's go back. I liked her expression. She was like genuinely happy. Let's go back to
Yes.
that.
I've moved on. I fell in love again.
She's like, I
No.
fell in love again a little bit there.
I think part of why she's here for this is to be able to say that to him.
Yes.
I think that's part
It's
of why
closure
she's here.
in a way for her.
Well, it's like, I'm happy.
Hmm.
you know, like, yeah, you
you're
hurt
not
me.
going to get the end.
Yeah.
You're not going to have the last word on
Yeah.
who I'm going to be
Yeah.
and how I'm going to feel about myself.
And the last time they,
Mhm.
you know, I'm sure like one of the last times they, definitely on the last video, and maybe even because it said at the end of that last video, they had talked on the
It
phone,
moved, yeah.
you know, like maybe he was expecting like this girl's going to still want me kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But she clearly has
He
moved
kind of
on.
likes the chase,
Yeah,
maybe a little
he
bit.
likes being wanted.
Yeah.
And that's what he...
This is his way.
Yeah, and he's got some wounds. He's got some hurts.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Probably abandonment,
all
stuff
over.
like that. And he wants to be desired and wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's able to say, I've moved on.
Yeah, let's
And
play.
he's uncomfortable with that. Let me go back again. And I'll...
Dawn. Fell in love again with a great guy. And we're very happy.
That's good to hear. I'm happy you finally found someone that can give you what you deserve, sis. I'm happy for you. I actually was in a relationship when we shot the first one.
You didn't say that last time.
I don't have to, it's not your business. I don't have to tell you everything.
You know, there's still some wounds there.
Oh, yes. And now he's feeling the wound for sure.
Yeah, but there's still some wounds there. But just the reaction out of him is interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's like he's got a one-upper. He's constantly having a one-upper.
Yes, I get that sense,
you know?
too.
And it's like you just can't let things be.
Yeah.
I messed up. I'm sorry. I'm happy for you. Like,
yeah.
So let's keep going.
I was in love with you. I wanted to be with you. But that's all in the past now.
I hope I never see you again.
What is he acting like this for?
Well, because he's hurting and he doesn't know how to share hurt. He just knows how to be vindictive and angry and have that facade. So, and really underneath is just so much pain on his part.
I get all that, but I mean, like, just the context of this. Like, you're in a studio. 75 million people watched the last video. Millions of people are going to watch this, and I guarantee you, after that, the people in his social circle were like, "Don't be an idiot, man. Stop acting this way." But I think he's saying he hasn't learned anything.
Yeah.
Or if he's learned stuff, it hasn't gone from his head to his heart.
Yeah, it hasn't been the right stuff. That's for sure.
It's painful to watch this because it's just like she's not here to like
hurt you.
She's speaking truth to power in a sense of like, hey, I want to let you know you hurt me, but I've moved on.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that song, Dog Days Are Over. Like, hey, dog days are over, better days are coming. And she is saying to somebody who was a bully to her or an abuser to her in a lot of ways, like, hey, I have moved on. She's healed, done some healing, you know?
And he hasn't, clearly.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like
there's still some rawness there.
Yeah.
I'm sure all that's intensified by the lights of the cameras and stuff, and the public perception plays a big role in this. Because sometimes when the public is watching, it's almost like you're supposed to say the politically correct thing. You can't always be genuine with how you feel. You got to say the right thing.
Yeah, for fear someone will criticize you.
Yeah.
I wipe my hands of you.
She said, I wipe my hands of you.
I wipe my hands.
Ladies, men, if you're looking for a relationship, this is not somebody you want to be in a relationship with, because there's no respect, there's no remorse, there's no care. It's all self-centered.
Yes.
I don't think you've ever seen him in the last video, definitely not this video, like express anything towards her.
No, that wasn't centered on him.
Yeah, it's all self-focused on him.
Wow. And you know, something that she's going to have to be careful with after this, I don't know how long this has been out there, but this probably opened some wounds. I imagine, like, I spent X amount of time with you, I was intimate with you, and this is how you treat me. I could just imagine how crushing that could be.
He's treating her like dirt.
Yeah, I hope her next relationship, I hope the guy she's with now is
honestly,
not this guy.
Yeah, and we have a daughter.
Different.
Like, if somebody were treating our daughter or our sons this way, it would be hard to welcome them into the family.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, and it's one thing, people make mistakes, people may get drunk and have a one night stand, which is you'd want to avoid, of course.
Yeah.
But when people are committed to like rebuilding and growing themselves, it's easier to have forgiveness and compassion.
Yes.
Like, it's easier to see them like, okay, you're working on yourself, you're getting better, you're addressing what's there. But this is like, I'm not putting the spotlight on me, I'm putting it on you. It's really a form of gaslighting is what he's doing. It's like, no, I'm not crazy, you're the crazy.
Yeah.
And
no,
you
I didn't cheat on you with a million girls.
Yeah, you know, it's like, you're crazy for all of this.
Why didn't you leave me?
But here's the kicker. People like him can change.
Yes.
The thing is like, they have to want it.
They have to want it.
And they can, but sometimes they only change through hard knocks.
Yeah.
So there's a third video.
Yes.
Let's see. I think it's another year. I haven't seen it yet, but I think it's a year later. Let's finish this and we'll see what happens.
No, real quick. We are seeing this couple in a negative cycle. We are sort of dive bombing into this situation as outsiders, seeing a snippet of their truth and of their history and of their present in this video. So it really isn't fair to say this is how they are always. And I think we have to be very careful.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
Very careful.
I wonder if the people who, I don't know, this is just me wondering out loud. I wonder if the producers of this kind of had told them things to get them to come back. Like, oh, he's really this, she's here. You know,
clear
like
your name.
Well, yeah, different things to get him to come back.
Right.
Because like neither one of them is happy with this. Like,
clearly,
I don't know. I mean, I just don't know if there was something like that said.
Yeah.
Kind of like, oh yeah, come do it.
So you want to finish it?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay. So there's a part 3. We're gonna watch that
in the next video.
We're gonna get to that right now.
Okay.
So see you in the next video. We're Brad Morgan Robinson. Visit us at healingbrokentrust.com for workshops, programs, information on how we can help you in your relationship with broken trust.
All right.
See you next time.
See you in the next video.